Good evening. Today I want to talk about one of the biggest shocks in Tamil Nadu. From 1995, Madras has become an auto hub. It was an auto hub before and it used to be known as the Detroit of South India. But with the shutting of the Ambassador plant, not much was taking place in Tamil Nadu except auto components. But with the arrival of Ford in 1995 and Hyundai, Tamil Nadu again looked up as one of the auto sector's important destinations. Ford had several big hits such as Ford Icon, Ford Escort, and Ford Figo. The failures were very little. Ford had invested heavily, and it must be seen that nearly 7 years back they decided to expand their facility, and the second plant was bigger than the first plant, and it was put up in Sanand, Gujarat. Then, what is the reason that Ford suddenly left India? But this sector has been in trouble for a long time. In 2017, GM decided to leave India. But that was not surprising because GM, except Opel Astra, had no successful car in India. And Harley Davidson left India in 2019 because simply the duties were too much and they were finding it uncompetitive to manufacture and distribute in India. Harley Davidson re entered India with an arrangement with Hero Motors. Hero Motors would import the vehicle and distribute and service their dealers. So, is this problem only with American companies or is it a broad based problem? What is happening with the auto sector in India? One of the major employers in any country is automobile and automobile manufacturing. And because of that, there is a huge MSME, SME sector which makes components which survive. Let us take the example of Hyundai. Hyundai has lot of tier 1 suppliers. But over a period of time, the tier 1 suppliers have evolved so much. There are tier 2 and tier 3 suppliers. The whole ecosystem works that tier 3 suppliers supply to tier 2, who in turn supply to tier 1, and tier 1 supplies to Hyundai. This is the kind of infrastructure that has developed over a period of time. So, suppose a major player exits a market, the entire ecosystem collapses with it. When Ford set up a plant in Nagar beyond Tambaram, that entire GST road developed because of that. Lot of plants came up there and it became an auto hub. Ford was very successful initially and it was thought that Ford would be a major player in India. But ever since 2016, auto sales in India have stagnated. There have been lot of sales from the OEMs to dealers, but dealers have not been able to push the sale through. The demonetization in India proved to be the first major stumbling block. And from there on, demand has stagnated. In fact, Maruti has said their entry level cars are not selling. For nearly 30 years since Maruti 800 was first launched, till recent times, the entry level car was the largest selling car for Maruti. Maruti surprisingly found its demand shifted from Alto to Swift Desire and Zen. And they found that people were not willing to buy a small car. Hyundai tried one small car with Eon and it failed miserably and they had to withdraw manufacturing. Tata's Nano also failed badly. What this indicated is that India's first 10 million or 20 million people had bought cars and the next 20 million was not ready to buy cars yet. But the market understood it as different, that the Indian market was evolving and consumers were buying higher cars. True, but who was buying the higher end cars? Were people who already owned a car and were buying second and higher end cars. Thus, it was clear no new middle class was being created to buy cars. Why is it so? It is because the cost of ownership of cars in India is very expensive. Suppose, let us imagine a man has 60,000 rupees in salary. This is a husband and wife together, 60,000 rupees in salary. If I have to buy a 5 lakh car and I have made a down payment of 50,000, I have to nearly pay 10,000 rupees a month as EMI. I have to spend 3,000 rupees even if I am taking out the car once a day and at least 1 liter of petrol per day. It's going to cost me 3,000 rupees at current prices. Insurance and maintenance is going to cost me another 2,000. So it takes 15,000 rupees to buy a car. Then in any major metro, if I have to park that car and I need a residence, then I have to hire a house with a car park. And that in any major metro from where I can commute to work is going to cost me another 15,000. So just the ownership of car is going to cost me 50% of my salary. If that is the case, car ownership is not going to expand in a major way. That is the biggest problem. The direct GST on cars is 28%. There are other cascading excise import duties which take up the cost to 35 to 40% because some of the components have to be imported. Add to that a road tax for 10 years, which is also very expensive. And because government is hungry for revenue, I cannot pay road tax every year. I have to pay lifetime taxes. And since I pay lifetime taxes, the initial cost is extremely high. My EMI is including all this. Basically, for nearly 40% of taxes on my car, I am forced to borrow money to pay taxes and pay EMI on that. Out of 3,000 rupees I pay spend on petrol, nearly 1,800 rupees goes to central and state government as taxes. Even on the insurance I pay on my car, I have to pay 18% of it as taxes. So all these make sure that owning a car in India is very difficult. Therefore, there has been no growth in demand for the last 5 years. Last year to this year, there was a slight increase in sale, but even for Maruti, which is India's largest car manufacturer, the car sales have slumped by 8%. Overall, the growths have stagnated, even though 20 was a bad year. Car sales have gone back to the year 2017-18. So, Ford had put up a facility to make 8 lakh cars. And initially, they were exporting their cars out of Madras. But since local market has slumped, it makes no sense to manufacture cars. Last year, they announced leaving India, retaining 48% stake and giving 52% to Mahindra and Mahindra. This deal was announced with great fanfare. But on January 1st, Mahindra said that stagnant demand meant that they could not use this plant to full capacity and therefore were not taking that equity as promised. The Ford facility is being used only 20% and thus has become unviable. So, there is no possibility of reviving that plant unless some other car manufacturer comes to take it on a contract manufacturing. But even that is not a long term solution because of the fact that cars are very costly to own in India. This is going to cost nearly 1 lakh jobs. How do I say it is 1 lakh jobs? 4,000 direct, which means 1 is to 3 in contract labor. Then you have the other support staff and the other ecosystems, which will mean a lack of livelihood. 1 lakh livelihoods will be destroyed. Unless the government rationalizes tax, there is no hope. Thank you for watching. Be rich. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.